Well, there's 4 different people at least suing Burger King because they're saying Burger King secretly makes their Whoppers 35% larger in their TV commercials.
Oh, my.
Than what they are in person, and saying it's false advertising.
Wow.
When you order it, you're like, this isn't what I saw in the commercial.
They can tell 35%.
35.
Is this, I think it's 4 people. It's not a class action lawsuit.
No, it's 4, yeah.
So 4 people are suing for that. Now, products have been guilty, in my opinion, on TV. When you look at them, it looks different than when you get it.
How about that Hardee's burger? You know, where the
it didn't come with
bun
the girl.
comes down, and then the cheese, and then the meat, and then you're like, dang, I'm going to get a burger that's this huge. But
where's the hot girl with it?
Jason's mad Charlotte McKinney didn't bring it out topless.
Where's she?
But seriously, even like potato chips, and I think because from what I understand, a lot of the commercials on TV, it's not even a real burger. It's actually fake.
Yeah.
They have art, and they're trying to make it and present it in the best way possible to be enticing. But it's not exactly what you get when you get it. So, I mean, maybe there's a case there.
Well, isn't that what kind of started the whole, like, if you ever buy a box of Cheez-Its, right? Or a box of Wheat Thins, whatever. You open, or cookies especially, you'll open up the box, and when you're looking at the box while you're stuffing your face with said product, you read the fine print, and it'll be like, not to scale, or not actual size. But people might think it. They might be thinking, this is a huge cookie I'm going to get, and then you get it, and it's, it's half the size or
like
whatever.
the bag of potato chips that's like half of its air. You're like, well, who's putting
based
this
on
air
weight.
in there?
They say based on weight.
Right.
Like, dang.
I didn't read that. I didn't. Tell me how much air is in it first before I buy it.
So, I mean, they may have they may be able to get money.
That materially overstate the size of its burgers. And it's not just the Whopper. They say they also are guilty of doing it to the Impossible Burger, the Big King, and the Bacon Double Cheeseburger, among others.
What's the Impossible Burger?
It's plant-based.
That's a brand.
The Josie Burger, I call
Got
it.
it.
It's impossible to eat.
The Impossible, where it looks like beet juice comes out, so it looks like blood. I'm not kidding. I think that's the one.
I heard it's good, though.
I've heard.
I heard
you
it
can't tell.
tastes like an actual burger.
Yeah.
But I've heard it has more calories than a Whopper.
No.
What?
Because of all the artificial crap they have to put in it to make it taste good.
Wow.
Give that a Goog.
Yeah, look that
If
up.
that's true, that is fascinating. I didn't know at one time Papa John's, the thin crust, I remember a lady came in and she's like, I'm trying to watch my weight. I'm trying to get a thin crust and da-da-da. And then our manager said the thin crust had more calories than the hand toss. I'm like, really?
I find that sometimes with the cauliflower crust, too.
Yeah.
Just as many or more calories than a regular pizza.
But is it
regular
healthier?
crust. I don't know.
If
I
it's
don't
not
know.
healthier,
But
then I'm never eating it. But if it's a little healthier, I can deal with it.
I think the concept is that it is, but
I
not
don't
too
know.
sure.
We have our official attorney on, Lisa Lanier. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. The cauliflower pizza, the key is carbs.
Yeah.
There's no carbs in it, right? That's what it's for people. Because a lot of times when people are avoiding carbs, they don't really care about calories because they're on these diets that say, really, eat bacon, eat whatever, but just, make sure you're not eating carbs.
Yeah.
So that's really the key with the cauliflower crust.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, with Burger King, can these people win, and how much could they win?
So, this is, it's become really almost like an epidemic of these class action lawsuits against food makers and restaurants and fast food chains. And so what has happened is, like last year, for example, there were over 300 class action lawsuits filed against food companies, which is incredible. And most of those were filed by one individual, and they were mostly filed in 3 jurisdictions that have incredibly pro-consumer, strong pro-consumer laws. And for a while there, you were seeing just victory after victory for these consumer rights advocates. And now we've seen a bit of a shift. And so what we now are seeing is this standard that is the reasonable consumer standard, which is, would a reasonable consumer really think that the burger is going to look exactly like the television commercial? And I think they may lose because of this reasonable consumer shift. There for a while, they were taking it very literally. And so if things weren't exactly as they were represented, then these food companies were losing big and settling, or having to be tagged with verdicts for millions of dollars, or an incentive was there to settle if they were sued. But now they've fought some of them, and they've started to win. And the standard has emerged where I think this may be one of those that what we're starting to see is the ones where the consumer rights advocates win are the ones where you make an affirmative misrepresentation. Like you say in the commercial, this is a, a pound of meat, and then you get it and you weigh it, and it's a half a pound of meat.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That's a good point.
That's very
Yeah.
literal. That's a literal misrepresentation. But now they're kind of getting away from these things where, well, it didn't look exactly like what The one case just recently that I got a lot of media attention where the consumer folks lost was a Pop-Tart lawsuit. They sued Kellogg, saying that the strawberry Pop-Tart didn't have enough strawberries in it. It had
my
other
gosh.
it had other fruits. Like it had more pears than it had strawberries, for example. And so the judge said, no. This is, there are strawberries in it. There's no representation here that it's only strawberries or that there's 3 strawberries per Pop-Tart or anything like that. So a reasonable consumer would not expect there to be only strawberries in a particular quantity, so they lost. And so that's what we're starting to see. So I think this Burger King case is a loser.
So if it said on the Pop-Tart, like, made with 100% strawberry filling, then that's a literal... Because this has happened before, too. My wife will order some kind of decoration, per se, on Amazon. And when we get it, because she tells me how it is, and we get it, it's like 10 times smaller than it is. And I said, well, the picture, we're in our minds, we think of how we want it to be. But I said, did you look at the measurements? And when you look at the measurements, it actually is only 5 inches long or something like that.
Oh, I hate that.
But it's not... But it's our mind, because they literally, you could take a picture of something and you could show it to me, Jared. And in my mind, I'm processing how big that is. There's no way of knowing it unless it's compared.
You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying?
If it's compared to something like a normal size
if it's
thing.
by itself, there's no way we can actually know how big it is.
You just assume based on other things you've seen that it might be this size.
Or what you want it to be.
Well, we looked for swing sets.
Yeah.
And I looked at 100, and then I started not remembering what I'm looking at. Like, where's the one that had 3 slides, or did it have 2 slides? And they have these little kids in it, and then like a dad, probably Jason's height. I'm like, this thing looks massive. We get it. It was like half the size of what we thought it would be.
Yeah.
And it was not half the price.
Yeah,
It was the full price, but I was stunned by how small it is.
But do you think
compared to what we thought?
They do that and hope that you're not somebody who's going to look at the measurements? Like, don't you think that they're kind of like relying on it?
Most people aren't going to go out to their yard and measure
Right.
14 by 10. And,
Yeah.
And then this huge thing, you're probably not going to take it back because it's a pain.
And they got your
especially
money.
a
Right?
swing set.
They're counting on that.
But sometimes,
they're
Katie,
counting on that.
sometimes I think that when you, like, if I took a picture, because I've done it before for instance, on a Facebook Marketplace, it might be a table or something like that, or a chair, and I just take a picture of it, and the other person, at the last minute, well, how big is that again? And I told them, it's 54 inches, the table. Like, oh my gosh, that's double the size than we thought it was. See, in their mind, they're thinking, oh, this looks nice and would fit in my house. But they didn't see, unless there's comparison. So I think, yes, sometimes they do it on purpose, and sometimes no. It's just the way you process it in your mind. So the literally thing is the specifications.
Right. And most people don't look at that.
No, they don't. And Amazon and other apps have now where some items you can place it in your room.
Oh,
have you seen
cool.
this?
No.
So let's say you're looking at a dresser. You can say, no, you'll see on that particular page, place it, see if it fits in your room. And you are in your room with your camera, and it puts it where you want it in your room.
What?
Oh, wow.
And then you can say, oh, no, this is way too big or way too small. Like, this works. I'm surprised you guys
They're
have missed
probably
this.
No, I
doing that
don't know
because
it.
they're getting so many returns.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's not all the different pages have that on. I think it's dependent on the product, but it's a very cool function because it's like, oh no, this ain't gonna work, or this is gonna work for sure.
They were probably having returns and also bad reviews.
Yeah.
And then that'll hurt your business.
Yeah. And they want to eliminate having so many returns because they eat that merchandise. They end up selling it for a deep, deep discount to resellers that have like flea markets and private dollar store type things. They don't resell that at full value. Sometimes if it's electronics, they'll refurbish it and sell it as refurbished. But for the most part, there's just loads of returns getting sold for nothing.
Yeah, you can actually, from what I understand, you can actually bid on just a big container of whatever's in it.
Yeah, that's right. They sell it by the container. You don't even know what's in it. Right. And you don't know.
It's kind of exciting.
Right, and you don't know if it was stuff that didn't work or the person just didn't like it or it didn't fit. You don't have any idea.
What was the name of that show?
Storage Wars?
Storage Wars,
Yeah.
where you could
like
just
that.
bid on the store. And sometimes you got a severed head and you didn't know.
Yeah.
Or like head in a jar. Yeah.
Well, there was one claim that my wife knows a lot about Amazon, obviously, but now there's one claim that this guy was making a ton of returns. return after return after return. And what he was doing is he was sending all the stuff back with nothing inside. And Amazon's so big, they don't even look and they just throw it in the bin. They don't even care sometimes. And it was certain items that he knew that they just didn't look like maybe it wasn't electronic. And he kept returning and returning. And just finally they caught him because people started buying these bins. And when they went to the bin, there was nothing inside it.
Wow.
My goodness.
And then you're really lucky is when they say, just keep it, we'll send you another one.
I love when that
do that.
happens.
They do that all the time. Yes, I bought some fancy cooking oils, and one of them broke in transit. But there was like 5 bottles of different fancy cooking oils, and they said, no, just keep them all. And then they sent me 5 more. I was like, this is great.
That's the best.
Score.
Yes.
I now have 9.
But like when you think, oh, maybe they'll let me keep it, then they're like, must return by.
And prove that you got it. And
And it's after you put together the table. And they're like, and it has to be in the box the way it came. What?
you're digging through your trash, put the box back together. All right, as always, she's great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.